when we get into what we're going to talk about here, Coach for Cash Flow, the tagline that you see there, empowering people to create passive cash flow, that's the optimal goal. The average person, when they come to us, have already been to whoever and everybody they need to have already seen, from banks to brokerages to financial people to accountants. They have all these people, right? For us, we confirm where they're coming from and who already saw their stuff, but we give them an option now. Profitable one. That's the engagement. That's why people will move forward. So, and also, as you're making notes, we don't expect anyone to sell this. You have to qualify. So unless you're eligible, why close them? Because you can't go anywhere with them. You're wasting your time. Okay. And because you come from the industry, that's good. How long?
Oh, well, I've been in banking for over 20 and then, yeah.
Okay, I won't hold that against you.
Yeah,
but,
I've been in that industry for a long time.
Okay. It's interesting. We've dealt with just about everybody and anybody in the financial area. We've had ex-bank managers, come to the table who, at the end of the day say, I didn't know. I didn't apply it like that. And I go, I know. That's why we're here, right? That's what we do. So it is a bit of a turn for some people. Homeowner secret weapon to being debt and mortgage free, we say both, not one, all. It's all about debt. But people tend to hear mortgage. It's not about your mortgage. It's about getting out of debt and making it work for you. The average person, their debt does not work for them. That's why it's called bad debt. But they don't call it bad debt. They go, no, that's the stuff I have to pay for, right? So we're gonna change that. In a Momemtum session, this is a fine-tuning of and a highlight of the various things that we do. Thursday nights is actually a business meeting that we actually have, and it's very specific about the whole Coach for Cash Flow idea. Today is specific pieces, so this is more of a client-focused session that I'm doing today that we're also recording. There's actually 3 presentations that I'm going to cover. We call it a mini BPM or a mini business presentation. Some of the highlights from the weekly that we do. There's actually 2 other short, these are all short presentations, so I can get it done obviously in the time slot that we have. And these are designed for individuals that are actually going through the process. So this is not, good morning. This is not for salespeople. This is actually for the client. As a matter of fact, what people come to accept is that we prefer clients over salespeople because a client tells others what they did. A salesperson thinks they need to sell it. I go, this is not something you sell, again, because it's something people have to qualify to, like the mortgage business and banking and the rest. There's financial or credit worthiness that's involved, in the bigger picture. So I'll come back to our first slide. So we talk about personal finance, and even though it says that's math-based, it's actually more psychological than anything else. So we actually help people to develop the better habits. Even though it says 20% knowledge, 80% action, again, a lot of people know, but does that mean they're doing? They're not, right? They talk it. And people will say, oh, I know about that, so you're doing it. No, I just know about it. Okay. Oh, I could do that too, so you're doing it. No. It's funny how we got to get past the conversation. It has to be action-based. So take action so you can put your savings on autopilot. Here's why we say autopilot. Average homeowner, who is our target market, preferred, not only client market, but preferred, those individuals who are in a home ownership position and also have debt, but would like to get out of debt without spending more money, that's the target. So there's many other versions of that. That's specifically who we go after. So why autopilot? Well, the average person, they get up at what time? Those who have a job. They get up how early and come home how late? Although they put in an 8-hour day. How many hours were they on the road? So now all of a sudden it turns into a 12-hour day, 14-hour day. So autopilot is very important because the average person, even though they're exposed to all the things that they could be using to be more efficient with their debt structuring and repayment and all the rest, they're not, because they don't take the time. So if we can create something that is more of an autopilot approach, that means our success rate can go up. So it's not just transaction-based now. Now it becomes more of an experience, which is, again, more to the language we like to use. If it's transactional, that's for every other professional that's out there. For us, no, it has to be hands-on, handheld, if necessary. Yeah. And I like the part you brought up about Kim. So I wish they were both here, because it's interesting how Mike has a certain way of speaking. So do I. So does Ryan. So does Kim. But we're all talking about the same thing. So it's like who resonates with who is very important. Like even yourself going through this today, the people you're going to deal with, you may not actually deal with them. It may be somebody else that you've groomed or brought through that are better suited. Right? So we keep all that in mind. So here's the disclaimer. This is for homeowners only. You can't buy the service. You can only qualify. You can't even cut a check for the service. And if you are approved, the actual fee for the service is paid by the interest savings from the debt restructuring process. We show all this in writing. You don't have to move your banking, because that's what a lot of people immediately gravitate to. Oh, I got to move. Well, virtual banking and setting up a mortgage, all that stuff has been happening for years and years now. When we first entered that zone of virtual banking, it was like, wow. And then you started hearing and seeing this orange thing, on TV or hearing about it on the radio and President's Choice, all these different things. So it's like, yeah, it exists. So for people today, that's really the key idea is I like to deal with Julie at the bank. I like her. She does what I need done. I can just call her up, it gets done. Well, that's got nothing to do with your mortgage. It's a whole separate product. So we let people know that you don't have to leave the comfort of your bank. Okay, so here's a short summary of why we do what we do. Make your home and your short-term debt work for you. And of course, why include all forms of debt? So when you really think about it, debts are debts, no matter if they're short or long-term. But the short-term debt, which I think we all know, how much you're paying for that short-term debt when you're servicing it, that's what kills cash flow. Yet people, on purpose, still do it. If Ryan was here, he would say, okay, how come people have a first mortgage, a second mortgage, credit card debt, line of credit, all these, why don't they just blend everything? It's more efficient. So there's the question on the table. How come your bank, and if you open up your wallet, that's how you know, you have all these different cards or different things from the bank. Why do they do that? Why do you have all these different products from an institution?
Makes them up.
It makes money. So because if we're the bank, would we do it any different? No. So I know everybody wants to be a banker. I just make sure they know it too, right? Because it's not an illusion, it's for real. Hey guys.
Hi.
So we include all of your debts in the analysis because that's what we do. We do an analysis so you can see the overall effect and what debt will really cost you. Average person has no idea. They're more focused on the payment itself because it's comfortable. We then provide you with a more effective approach to actually eliminate it as we move forward. So here's the confirmation. I actually have two. This is an older one. This is like a decade ago in terms of what a John and Mary sample, what it looked like. So they had a first and a second mortgage totaling $1,700, give or take a month. And that's servicing, $200,000. Today, a first mortgage is double that, if not more. The debt that they were servicing, short term, they call it short term, but we dispel that in our weekly presentations. Car loan, Visa, MasterCard, Home Depot as an example, that total is $911 a month, and that's servicing like just over $45,000. So you quickly look at it and say the ratios are kind of out of whack, but yet we ask, why would you pay $900 to service $45 you're spending 17 to service 200. Why wouldn't you do something about that? So they might say, I can't, I'm not really sure, no one's called me in, I don't have those kind of interviews. I go, we know, right? Because the bank knows how they make their money. Lenders know how they make their money. They're all guilty as far as we're concerned. I don't care if it's a big 5 or big 6, however you like to look at them. Their business is to put out the loans. And of course, as often as people are leaving the bank, there's that many more coming in. So it's a constant revolving door. In the summary that we're showing, 2634.88 is the monthly that's being used to service the entire amount of debt. In this case here, just over $250,000. But what's interesting is the very bottom line. It says time required to be debt-free is 24.6 years. When we actually take a calculator out and we take it out line by line, when the analysis gets done, this is how long it's going to take overall to completely be rid of this. Do you see anything wrong with that list? From a consumer point of view, not a professional. From a client, because that's how we introduce today. This is a client-focused session that we're recording, guys, just so you know. Okay? Anything funny?
Well, you're assuming that they're never going to use the Visa and MasterCard again.
No, it's not an assumption. All we did is took out a calculator and said, based on your current debt, this is how long it's going to take you to pay for that debt.
Right.
No assumptions.
No, but you're saying then they're not using it anymore.
No, we didn't say that.
Well, how are you going to get it to zero?
Let's try that again. These are the things that these people owe. First mortgage, a second mortgage, car loan, Visa, MasterCard. This is in a point in time. This debt, if they apply these numbers, that's how long it's going to take. Period. No other assumptions.
Okay.
So does that seem weird?
Yeah.
How?
Well, again, like okay. I don't know. I'm just saying, like the Visa card, the MasterCard, they're not using them anymore.
No, didn't say that.
I know, so then it's not really true. It's not really true that they'll be debt free.
It's 100% true. That debt that they owe. So thanks for bringing that up.
That current debt.
Which
that's what you're saying. Okay.
Each time.
Yes. Okay,
On purpose.
I know what you're saying.
On
but
purpose.
that's not, I'm saying as a consumer, that's not what you're thinking in your head.
Now it's interesting that you want to apply that logic, but you have to apply that same logic because we haven't even started with what we do yet. This is what they're doing.
Yes.
So today, based on how you're servicing your debt, that's how long it's going to take.
Yeah.
Not taking into consideration any other debt or crisis or opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not trying to suggest, because as soon as you bring that up, of course we're going to bring that up. As soon as we have two sides to compare it. Yeah, so we're almost there. But it's interesting where the mind is going. That's not static. I agree. It's not static. It will change. And here's what's kind of cool. Because it will change, if you don't have a plan, you got nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
With a plan, you can get back on, right? So here's a different example. First example was on about $250,000, right? $2,600 a month. This is more like a client today. First mortgage, $1,597.28, $463,000. Now, the information that we collect, which you may or may not have seen from Mike or Kim, when we collect the data, we collect full detail. How much? What's the rate? All of it. And then we do our calculations. These are summaries after we collect the detail. Auto, Visa, loan, line of credit, again. See, in this case here, $2,469, as much as they were spending on all debt before, this is just on the short term now, plus the mortgage, which is $1,597. So that total is $4,066 at the bottom, servicing just over $500,000. What's scary about this is that the interest environment is almost the same as it was a decade ago, a little bit less, But the reality is the debt load is far greater. That's why we don't need to go into double-digit interest rates if the market decides to go back that way before there's a problem. It only has to raise a little. It can still be single digits and wipe out the client, right? Never hit double digits, right? My older brother had hit double digits, back in the 70s, 20+%. Keys were being handed in. Keys will be handed in, and it'll never even hit 5%. Keys will be handed in. This is how ridiculous it is. So, is there a need for what we do? Oh yeah. So here's a confirmation. On that first example, that $26.35 a month that we were showing for all that debt, and we showed it was going to take 24.6 years, this is what you didn't see, how much interest is involved. So just for that debt, because the report is debt on arrival to confirm your thought. The minute we produce it, it's done. So based on what you did to this moment, that's what it means. But here's what's interesting. If you restructure yourself from that old schedule, keep the same commitment, $26.35, but lower your obligation. How do you lower your obligation? In a restructure, in this case here, this actual client free up $1,000 a month. Here, $2,635 is a combination of interest and principal. This is a combination of interest and principal. This is actually inside of here also, and this is pure principal. So the reality is this: if we apply the same payment as here, but we know it's more principal, it's no wonder why they're going to be done sooner. It's no wonder why they're going to, as soon as I get my little cursor here, it's no wonder why they're going to spend less interest. Also as important, more important than that whole top section, the same year that they would have been debt-free, and since I'm a boomer, the language sounds like this: house rich, cash poor. Now, the average person who gets to that level, they finally get there, they're house rich, cash poor, but they don't understand the ramifications of that. They really don't. Other than, I'm cash poor, it's so easily said and absorbed, but they really don't know the exposure, what that really means. We're saying here, 24.6 years, again, apples to apples, go the distance, you'll be house rich, cash poor, or you can be house rich, cash rich following my schedule and actually tuck away, no investments, just tuck away the difference. Keep putting the money away as if you owed it. That's a plan. Now, does the average person do that? Nope. Anyone here go to a gym? Used to, ever? And have you ever used a personal trainer? Yeah. Is there a difference?
What do you mean, between using one and not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How come?
Well, you're more disciplined if you have a trainer.
Yeah, someone holds you accountable. Yeah. Yes. Now, you might say, no, I hold myself accountable. Yeah, when someone's on top of you, okay, 2 more, 5 more, yeah, it's different because you're going, I didn't think I could. Yes, you can. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's a very loud voice in your head, right? They're right there on top of you. That's why something like this works, is because we're like a personal trainer, right, for the client. So, is there magic involved? No. When it comes to the mortgage and the car payment and those loans and those various credit cards and, the retailers, this is what people do. This is their structure. What they don't see is that, oh, I can make that $26.35 more efficient. Yeah, you can. Probably not by yourself. Or you would have done it already. And not with the people you're working with, or you would have probably done it already. Even in the industry, because this is a concierge service, we influence everybody that's in the process. We hold them accountable. Otherwise, they'll say, oh, I got you the loan. Awesome. Got you a great rate. How do you know it's great? And they don't really have an answer. Because, see, we actually do a written plan. We actually spell it out. So when we're asking to the professionals to complete their role in the process, it has to reflect well on the plan, or we kill it. We don't accept it. We say, go back, right? And that's important. And this is the picture of the current client, with the $1,597 payment on that $462,000 first mortgage. Nice neighborhood, of course. But $4,066 is the old plan, 33 years to go. And by the way, that's the other reality today, is most people, their debt load is 30 plus years away before they retire everything. Here's what you have to ask that's not being asked there. So now I can ask like you were. So, how long has that person been a homeowner? Oh, let's say 15 years. How many more years they have to go? Lots. So lots plus 15 is how much? It's close to 50 years. Mom and dad's time, grandma's time, 25 years was forever. I think my parents had lasted 3 months, borrowed from a brother-in-law. That was it, right? No more mortgage. Today, we don't think twice about it, right? Because we have to live. The reality is, if you restructure yourself, the example here says you can go from 33 to 16, save $66,000 plus in interest, servicing all those little balloons you see there, because you control that $1,579, which is pure principal, but more importantly, that house rich, cash poor date, no assumption of a rate of return, using zero, stuffing the mattress, which we use in our presentations on Thursdays. That's what that means, that they continue to support themselves. Average person today, are they putting the money away as something gets paid off, or is it going wherever? Is it plan-based? No, right? That's why that personal trainer is important. The authorization that we get a client to sign off on is a promise to complete. There's a process. So it's not just a conversation. It's like, no, we're going to put this on paper. We're going to ink it. It's a commitment. Just like when the bank gives a commitment. Client has to commit. They have to commit to their plan. What I'm covering is, again, an intro, short version of what we do each week in a momentum session, because for a client, they need to be reminded, this is what you're doing. So whether it's you sitting here right now, or a client that you've introduced, or a client that you've introduced who's introduced another client, and maybe it's 10 deep from you, that's how far it's gone. We run them through the same approach because we want to educate our clients. We don't want to sell them. We want them to know what they're doing. They're still going to say, and because we asked them, have you been to the bank before you came to us? Yes. Have they been to your home? Yes. Do you know what you did? No. Okay, let's try that again. Did you go to the bank? Yes. Did they come to your house? Yes. Do you know what you did? No. Okay, they can say the same thing with us. Fair enough? So, because we know that, even though our intent is very different, we take the time and spend the time so they get it, right? Now, can they come back more than once? Yeah, they need to. Part of the solution, for those taking notes, part of the solution is frequency. The more frequent that they can get in front of this, the more that they can absorb it. Otherwise, it's a cosmetic. They're still too busy. They're still working. We're not that important, but it is important. They need to get it. Because the more you get it, the more you're going to stay on top of it. So, like that personal trainer thing, I can remember one time I was doing back exercises, and I was soaked, drenched, sitting on that chair, and a gal a few machines over says, "Hey, lazy." I go, "What?" I'm soaked. She wasn't my trainer. She says, "You're lazy." I said, "I don't feel lazy." She says, "Straighten your back. You're using other muscles than the isolated ones." Oh. Then she comes and sees me after. She goes, "Better?" Okay, yeah, much better. She says, "You know what I'm saying?" I said, "Yeah, I got it. But it's funny, if you took her on at face value, you're going, don't I look like I'm doing it? Because I'm soaked? Nope. I wasn't isolating as well as I should have been, right? Which is interesting. So this is the same thing. We get people to focus on the efficiency of their structure. They don't. Because they go, what do you mean? I owe what I owe on my first mortgage. The amortization, 25, what can I do about that? Like that's what they gave me. That's what they said I qualified to, right? That the value of my house. I have no control over fair market value. No, you don't have control over a lot of this. But that information tells us if we can help or improve your situation. This is like an x-ray for us. So when we do this x-ray and we ask these 7 questions, these are very specific. There's more. There's much more detail that we get. But we developed this survey approach based on one of our groups. They said, we want to reach more people quicker, so can you do something that, cosmetically isn't too intimidating, that, will grab their info at the top and ask as few questions as possible, but it allows a report to get generated. So we did. Those summaries that I just did come from these 7 questions, right? Now, of course, to complete the process, we actually will get all the detail, right, on what we call an intake form. And we get everything. And then we get all the statements. We get everything backed up in writing. And then as the professionals are doing their job and we've done our analysis, we make sure that when this is all complete, we also review that with the client as well. Is that normal? No. Do we do it anyway? Yes. Do they come into the office and say, those aren't my numbers? Yeah. Do they agree that they are their numbers after we're done? Yeah. It's funny. They deny their own numbers because they never looked at them at this level before, which is kind of cool. It's funny to watch someone in denial. And then you say, do you have your statement? Yes. Is that the same as on the screen? They go, yep. Okay, so it's still you. Yeah. Right? But if they were betting, they'd say, it's not me, but it is you. So important. And then here's a little backup. This is more of a secondary presentation Q&A, FAQ, if you will. Is this a form of credit counseling? Nope, we're not credit counseling. We help people who wish to help themselves. The most important statement in everything that we do is right there, and it's underlined. Out of everything, no matter how sophisticated we are or unsophisticated, if the person doesn't want to help themselves, let them go. Let them stay under the old schedule. Because we're only trying to improve their situation. If they fight you trying to help them improve, let them go. I need to be convinced. No, you don't. See, my job is to make sure that they don't prostitute you and turn you into a salesperson. I don't let it happen. Walk away. Okay? I've done this a few thousand times, and I never embellish on numbers. You'll come to learn that. But I work for you, right? I make sure you get it. So, isn't it about low interest rates? Go back to the first line, the caption. Low rate or least amount of interest. Our focus is least amount of interest paid. People think rate is the deal. Yes, it's part of it. If you're not looking at the whole picture, you kind of focus on that. The institutions hope that you do. That's the negotiating power. If they want you to negotiate rate, because that's not where the money is, right? We said this not 10 years ago, 20 years ago, that even if the banks, at some point, not that we were mind readers, said if they charge as little as 2%, they're still making a boatload of money. Has that come to pass and it's true? Yeah, it's come to pass and it's true. So isn't it about low interest rates? That's when people say, so what kind of rate can you give me? Oh, so you're looking for a mortgage. So there's, I don't know how many thousands of agents in Ontario. Go to the phone book, pick one, off you go. We'll see you later. Because that's not what we do, right? Do we have a brokerage to work with and send everybody to? And yes. But that's not the point. If people pigeonhole us to say, I'm here because I want to get a good rate, we're not interested. It's kind of like in the insurance, like you were saying. Are you in the insurance business? Are you in the mortgage business? That's actually, I'm happy that you said that, because that means he's doing it right. We don't want to be any specific thing. Do we have influence over all of it? Yes. People never knew what to call me either, which is interesting, which is okay. But they said, but he does that. Oh, okay, that's a good thing. This is what we do. So it says, no, it's not about low interest. No, it's not about low interest rates. It's about low interest paid. So most people who have a low rate mortgage, 3-4%, which is actually kind of high now, right? Although it's coming back again. TD was first one, and typically are, to raise it. I mean, prime was supposed to be prime, not bank prime. Prime was supposed to be prime, not bank prime. But the bank said, no, this is prime. So whatever Bank of Canada is doing, we're 2 points more, if not more. That's what they do. That's what they do. We'll see what happens now that Trump is in. So, having said that, they don't realize that they're paying 67 to 75% of their monthly payments to interest. As a matter of fact, in today's interest environment, if we use 3% specifically, and amortization has no bearing, the formula for calculating interest is the same. So you're talking over 50%, and I'm rounding it, it's 52.5 specifically if you're using 3 points, but it's over 50% on the dollar at 3%. So here's the question. If it's 3% interest rate, how come you're paying 50 cents on the dollar? Every dollar. And for a while. Now, what was cool years ago when we were doing this is that we could take somebody, you don't reach a 50-50 point principal and interest years ago until you were like 12, 15 years into your mortgage. You can actually be at 50%, give or take, first payment now. Even though it's still 50%, which is not 3%, first day is a big deal. 50%, 12, 15 years later, that's terrible, right? That's house rich, cash poor. So this is part of the education. It's part of the process. Our program focuses on, as it says, least amount of interest paid. That helps people to get out of debt quicker, and they're also building wealth. This is also key in what we do. You are building wealth first day. Old school is get out of debt over time, then start building wealth. Traditional financial thinking. Our approach is a simultaneous one. You are building wealth immediately because you need to, you don't have time. So we structure it that you're building it right away. Right? It's very important. Lastly, it says, will this affect my credit in a negative way? Answer is no. We don't deal in debt settlement. We don't do that type of stuff. Some people's thinking out there, others will say, everybody, it's not true. Some of the thinking out there is, oh, you got to be in trouble to want to do something like this. We never said that. You didn't hear or see this in the presentation. You never will. We help those who wish to help themselves. So, looking for typical couple, husband, wife, both working, paying their bills on time. How is that trouble? We have no expectation for them to go bankrupt. It's nothing like that. But is their payment based on the snapshot or summaries we showed? Is it as efficient as it could be? No. If it was more efficient, would it have an impact on them financially? Big impact. So here's a summary of our whole program. Why does this make sense? Number one, we just confirmed, doesn't matter that you accept or understand, right? We just confirmed that all debts have to be treated the same. People do not. They debt stack. And because they debt stack, it's divide and conquer, and they're the ones that are getting conquered. Time has to work for you, not the lender, which means you have to be able to be accumulating as you're paying, but the average person is just exhausting capital. It's bad debt. It's not working for them, but it has to. So a structure is necessary. Lastly, a summary statement is this. What you're doing needs to be systematic. So it doesn't matter if you've been in the house a couple of years or you've been in the house 20. long-time homeowner, brand new, it doesn't matter. You have to make sure that what you're doing is systematic, that you don't have to think about it, but that it's thinking for you. The problem is people are unconscious. They are unconscious because of their work schedules. Not because they don't care and they're not educated and all. That's none of it. Matter of fact, the system hopes that you're as busy and captive as you are, so that when it's time for you to need something, you're so choked based on your obligation that you got to go with whatever they're offering. And we're saying, nope, it doesn't have to be that way. Simultaneous is back to the pay debt, eliminate debt, build wealth, same time. That's what simultaneous means. It must happen together, right? We can draw this out. We have special clinics for this, but the simple version works like this. And we're just about at the end of the first section. This is typical. This is today. And this is time. So when someone's in debt, they're going to pay their debt over 25 years, 30 years, 35 years, 40 at one time that they allowed, which I wish they still had, but that's another subject. If we use, and this is old schedule. This is how people are set up. My schedule, or the schedule that we help them develop, same situation today. Time, same place. The difference is they're going to be building wealth as they're eliminating their debt. It didn't happen one then the other. It's happening right here. They're making it work. They're actually accumulating and they're building. Every time they're paying down the principal, every time equity, the markets are going up, they're taking advantage of it by using a planned approach. That means if they hit a wall somewhere over time, they still got somewhere to go. Where are you going here? All you're doing is moving this. This is shifting. Because that's what amortization is, right? So I started here today, end of the table. This is an amortization schedule, right? And this is, say, 25 years. Here I go. Oops. Had a problem, have to refinance. Okay, so now it's the end of the next one. Okay, almost there. Oh, wait a second. Junior wants to go to university. Okay, we got to tap into that somehow. Okay, no problem. Here we go. Oh, wait. My daughter wants to go too now. Okay, awesome. No, the youngest wants to become a firefighter. We got to back him on that. How far is our amortization now? No, we're not even there yet. Oh, the oldest is getting married. We got to do something. Okay, we're finally almost. Oh, they just had a baby. We got to help out. It's funny, isn't it? So the amortization floats. It is not static. It constantly moves. So what do people need? They need a plan that is systematic, simultaneous, also sustainable. It has to be able to move even though, see, when you started it was static, so you thought. This is what's so cool. In real life, those of us who are a little older, because of experience, we go, no, we can talk to it and back it up. A millennial who isn't married, has no children, not in a house yet, does any of this really make sense? So is that our market? Hi, millennial. Now, although we still try, don't we? So here's what's kind of cool. There are a lot of people, we don't have to be righteous about what we do, but we have to know who our target market is. We have to understand that market, which is why we do sessions like this. Do we know this already? Yeah. Do we really echo it out loud? Maybe not. Or maybe not to the level that we should. So when we do a momentum session like this, why it's called momentum is because twice a month, like this week, we had a session Monday night that you could or couldn't make. We have this session today. We have a client function tomorrow night, so that means hopefully, we stir up certain things today and You're making a list and making it short and saying, okay, I know these 2 or 3. I should try and get them out in front of it so they can see the presentation, right? And then, of course, oh, you know what? I have some others that can't make it during the week. There's one on Saturday this week as an example in a room like this. I can get them to that. So we're creating that momentum. We're triggering. So it's not just I'm going to go talk to somebody, meet them at a coffee shop, and I'm not sure when we're going to. We create events on purpose so you can build, right? And by the way, as we have these events, guess what you get to do? Same thing. It doesn't have to be ours. We're only support, right? We do this for our groups. So you can do it for yourself and use us and do, expand on it, both sides. This has to be utilized to allocate more money. This is where it gets interesting. To your emergency fund. I talked with one individual Tuesday night. She says, no, I'm good. I have an open mortgage. So no penalties, that kind of thing. Yeah, I know, it's not normal.
Who does that?
But they do. Okay, she does. Teacher, open mortgage. So she was pretty proud of that. I said, good for you. And because we were talking about fees and the rest, and I said, okay, I have to attack her differently because she thinks she's already there. So I said, I have to make sure. So I said, not you, but most people that you know, do they have an adequate emergency fund? So he said, not us, them. I never ask us, because I won't get a straight answer anyway, right? Which I don't care. So, but we can talk about others. And by the way, it's never about who's here, it's who we're going to impact there. So, because this is the safe room. When you're here, you're fine. When you step out there, well, you're with or without us, okay? But we're with you somehow, right? Call us, email us, talk to Mike, right? Do what you got to talk to Kim, right? Do what you got to do. However, I've sat at tables like this, and let's say that we're millionaires, and I've sat at the tables where they were big millionaires. I asked the same question. And same answer from each room. He goes, no, most of them don't have adequate liquidity. Because that's a real emergency fund, not a line of credit. Cash, right? So they go, nope. So I go, all right. What do you think the teacher said? Oh, yeah, I'm good. I didn't ask her that. But she said, yeah, I'm good. So I go, okay. So how many months of good are you? She goes, 3 months. I go, okay, perfect. Now I have you. I said, average person. I asked the room, average person. You make $100,000 a year. You can replace your job, your income in 90 days. Go. I dare you. Quit your job. What do you think the response was? I said, 6 months. I dare you. You make $250,000. Go ahead. Replace your income and the type of job in that amount of time. And don't miss a beat on your bills. You think it's long enough? And then I asked the second question. By the way, what's a month? How much is a month? The first response was, gross or net? I go, gross don't matter. Net only matters. Gross is what you brag to your friends about. Net is what you talk to your spouse about. Yeah, net pays the bills. Who cares what the gross is? Made $100,000. How much you get out of that? 34. Right? I mean, it's still good. Still good. But she said gross. And I go, and then I said, well, what's the number? She said, that's private. So I said, okay, can we pick a number? So the husband finally, piped in. It was $4,000. I said, awesome. So you got $12,000. $12,000 gonna do it? I looked at the room. $12,000 gonna do it? About 24. I know, I've been through it. No. Unless there's 6 figures, it's not the same. That's comfortable. And 12,000, 24,000, that's tight. That's tight. Now, when we free up $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year net to a rich person, never mind a broke person, not poor, Would a rich person turn down $40,000 net per year?
No.
No, that's why they're rich. That's why they do this. Once they know. Because here's what's interesting. People do what they do because they think that's what they're supposed to do. Until they see something outside of their realm. So it's not about being crazy or funny about it. It's an analysis. If you get those 7 first questions, we didn't say SIN numbers and account numbers and all the rest, those things. Right? You could even put down Joe Sample. I don't care. Right? When I did this as a rule myself, there was no short survey. Everything. And I always got it. Right? I can count on one hand how many times someone did not want to give me a certain piece of information on one hand out of all the years. And I would just close my books. You don't have to convince anybody. Who do we help?
Those who want to help themselves.
Those who want to help themselves. It's an amazing thing. Here's the challenge. The client, not customer, the client, because customers aren't interested in a solution that they can be part of. They just want someone else to do something for them. Client, member, somebody wants to be part of the solution. That's who we like to deal with. They would like to get an analysis with no upfront costs. Done. They'd like us to walk them through the numbers. We will do that. Present a summary using dollars they already spend that can help them to get out of debt, be mortgage-free years sooner without spending more money. That's why that language is that language. It's not static. See, because people are where they are. I just showed you how an amortization, how it's flowing, it moves because of life. We know that. We know for sure that that exists. But a client goes, oh, that plasma, when plasmas first came in, that 10 grand, I'll pay that off like that. When do they pay it off? It's $10,000, right? And then 6 months later, or a year, right after the warranty, you see a line in the middle. I go, what is that? $10,000. Anyway, your challenge. We will show you how to get out of it sooner, provided your numbers are there, without spending more money per month. You'll also be asked to move forward to see if you can fully qualify. Just because we show you the numbers and it looks positive, right, compared to your old schedule, does that mean you're approved? No. It's a process, right? Is it any different than when you first bought the house? No. It's a process. When we review the analysis, and like most people, you're satisfied and accept our findings, we're also going to ask you to do what? Refer us. See, it's not a maybe, it's in our presentation. We don't leave it up to you to say, I'm going to ask for referrals. Whatever. No, it's part of our presentation, which means it becomes part of yours. More importantly, as they come and you get immersed into the functions and events that we do, you're going to find that clients love to bring clients. It's not so much who do you know. It's not really that type of approach, right? And I have done this for years, and I can certainly provide that type of information to make it easier, and hopefully you can reciprocate and help us to improve it also, right? But the bottom line is, because you're not selling, and you're going to come to terms with that a client will bring clients because clients are part of the solution, you're going to see that come true. That's not normal in business. Right? If someone did a mortgage, that client, customer, person, doesn't usually get up at 3 o'clock and go, oh, I got to get somebody for my mortgage person. I got to go get them some business. It's not usually like that, right? Or they just bought some life insurance. Oh, when I die, I get none of it, but my beneficiaries will be so happy. They don't get excited about that stuff. We typically talk living benefits, our whole structured approach. It's a living benefit, right? Something that you make work for you. Cash flows you, right? That's our target. Okay, that's presentation 1. That's a highlight of our week to week. Good with that? Doing good for time. Okay, let's go to session 1. Now, as I stated, By the way, again, for those taking notes, setting the stage is everything. So what you do in the first few minutes dictates the rest of your meeting. It's like going to the movies. If you go there too late and you miss the preamble, you kind of miss what's going on. You go, how come he's doing that? And where are they coming from? How come they're over here? Right? If I'm going to miss the first part, I'll miss it all. I'll wait. Don't tell me. Right? Don't tell me. Now, here's the caption for this presentation. What's my real cost? Which people don't really look at. Average individuals look at cosmetics, optics. Because we're the calculators, we don't. We want to know, right? We want to do that real x-ray. We get excited about that because this is where people typically stop and we keep going. So what is my real cost? Again, I'm talking to you like a client, not like a salesperson. Yes, if you understand sales and how it impacts the relationship, even better. Not really top of the list, kind of like interest rate is a consideration in the overall picture, but not top of the list. It's in there, just not at the top, right? Having an understanding, meaning a higher level acceptance with the client is our first goal. Kind of like when people get married, you know, it's not, do you understand? No. You get married. Yeah. Is it going to be good or bad? I don't know. You don't know, right? Who's going to win the elections yesterday? I don't know, right? I did say, though, to people I was talking to overseas yesterday, I said, it will not be decided before midnight. It was this, at least I had some idea that, oh, it's going to be close. It really was close. Less than, on what I saw on my phone this morning, it was under 1 million votes. Differential. I think 707,000.
That's crazy.
It's still big. I mean, but it was like 58 million something to 57 million. It's like, wow.
Which tells you the voter turnout is so low.
Oh, of the country. But I mean, is it any different? Right? And it was probably higher than normal.
Yeah.
And early. But yet the actual count, no, it wasn't so obvious. It's like, oh, we gotta keep going.
Somebody were too close to call.
Yeah, well, we are where we are now. So, first things first, what's my real cost? The exit. See, when we do what we do, we talk about the exit. Right? What we do, we talk about the exit. That is not normal in this kind of a business. It's okay, let's see what we can do. No, that's after. First, we take your numbers. It's like when you go to a hospital, and I use this reference all the time, you go to registration and you register, just like you did here, right? You register and then you wait for the next person to come and get you. So now they take you to x-ray. So do you know anybody, I mean, I've taken my own children through, it's like, do you know anybody that's ever said, so, what do you think is going to happen? Like, it just doesn't come up, right? It doesn't come up. So is this kind of unique? I believe so, right? In terms of what we do. Financial services, people do what they call an F&A, right? They gather intel, financial needs analysis. They gather information, but they may or may not use it. We absolutely do. We absolutely do. And it's the first thing we do. It is not an after the fact. It's the first thing. Now, we are specific. I have to say that. Our approach is exactly about the information you saw on that survey. It is pure debt related. It has nothing to do with your expenses. Just debt. Debt. I know it sounds too obvious, but people go, so, and your, no, debt. Right? Because Things like expenses, aren't they reoccurring? Debt is fixed. It's fixed. Can you go get more debt?
Yeah.
But then that's new debt.
Mhm.
But if I'm paying a utility bill, that's forever. How do you pay that off? You don't. Yeah, you go off the grid. Yeah, that's another-
Tesla.
Yeah.
The new roofs.
Yes, earth homes, all that stuff. Sure, it's all good. Okay, but that's why these are important notes, right? This is the education. We focus on that. Goal is, which just confirmed here, house rich, cash rich. Right?
Mhm.
You sure? Because this is where it gets kind of funny. There's two sides to that picture, right? When we do that presentation, old schedule confirms the latter. You're going to be cash poor. There's no upside to it other than, yeah, I've paid off everything. So when it's all said and done, and this is where the interesting questions come up. When it's all said and done, and you've paid off everything, you now believe, clients believe that they have 100% access to the paid off asset, do they? I'm in the same business you are. Are you in my business though? It's not a hard question, is it?
You want the cash? Go back to the mortgage.
Here's the thing. They only have 100% if they sell or move.
Funny, while we were watching the election last night, there was a commercial for reverse mortgages.
Yeah.
Henry Winkler? Was it the
I
Henry
know some
Winkler?
old guy.
Yeah, we all get older.
That's why you go back to the mortgage, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
But hold on. The question here is, other than that commercial, the question here is, do you have 100% access? Answer is yes, if you sell and you move. But the average person doesn't want to sell, doesn't want to move. You have to get them to there. So do you have 100% access?
Nope.
No,
Nope.
but even if you sell, you're gonna buy something else, you won't have 100% of it,
Rent?
right?
Well, you will for a minute.
Yeah, it's not really accessible.
No.
Because you need it.
Yeah, well, okay. But
Yeah.
let's say
know
I
what you
rent
mean.
for 6
Yeah.
months. Yeah. So I have it. That's the only way you can do it. Because people say, oh no, I have it. I have it. I got lots of equity. I go, do you? Is it structured, written? No. No, some guy said it's worth, so that's what I have. No, you don't. Right?
Air.
No, you don't. It's air. Right? 100% air. But that's an education. Average person doesn't know that. It's like I asked a question on Monday. I said, how many have RSPs? Hands go up. And I go, how many understand there's no recourse with RSPs?
And then they're like, what does that mean?
That was a whole new seminar. I said, okay, I got to push that one off. Because a lot of people think because it's registered, no, I'm good, I'm safe.
Guaranteed to lose your money.
There is absolutely no recourse. None. I'd throw those things in just so to make those so we talk later. Okay, so here's a case study. Homeowner is 68 years young. Value of paid off property is 1.2 million. Hey, the average of the GTA. Okay. Actual payments made over the years, whatever that is, equals 2 to 2.5 times the purchase price. Remember what the title of this presentation is.
Special client focus session.
Keep going because that's not it.
What's my real house?
Thank you. Thank you. That's where this comes in. I love it. I love it. Purchase price, 600. Do I gotta pay something else after the purchase price?
Probably transfer tax?
Sure, okay. Land transfer, yeah.
Yeah.
Keep going. Did you pay cash? Oh, it's a mortgage. It's so interesting. So Welcome. So I gotta pay interest now.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember the percentage?
Maybe I have to pay mortgage insurance.
Oh yeah, all that stuff. Okay, so now, so let's say it equals that between everything when it's all paid for. Is that before or after tax dollars when you're paying it every month?
After tax,
Oh, so how much more do you have to make?
double,
No.
2/3 more.
Let's just say you're up to 1.8, let's say. Use 50%, right? Now, you're 68.
Yes.
You were,
28.
I'll say 40. Be kind. Okay? You're 40 when you picked it up. 600 grand. Right? 28 years later, what did you pay? Okay, I paid. What's the house worth? Yeah. How much access do I have to it if I don't move? No, you do. I'm retired, she's retired. How much access do we really have?
50%.
50%. So we have access to about 600. I'm doing the reverse mortgage commercial, by the way. Okay. So
Well,
yeah.
even if they take equity,
Yeah, but that's it. So that's your number. So here's what's interesting. This is important. This is an education, and we don't solve it today. Come to the other clinics, and the dots will get connected. So I did all of this, worked hard, overtime, craft dinners, whatever we have to do. 600 grand is all they're going to give me. Yes, they're going to capitalize the interest. By the way, I'm borrowing this. It's not mine. It's still not mine. I'm borrowing it. Capitalize the interest, which means it'll be paid upon death, etc., etc. Good. So I'm exhausting the differential, right, between what I borrowed and the value. But of course, equity is going to keep going up. The markets do that, long term. So that's another story. But for now, that 600 is 50%. I've paid more than 100% based on how I make money. What's my real cost? So when they signed 28 years ago for 600, what did the bank put down in their general ledger? Not 600. Matter of fact, they put 600 plus interest, plus amortization, the terms, and 6 seconds later, sold the paper at a discount. Someone else now holds the paper, but who manages your mortgage?
The bank.
Julie at the bank. That they don't have anymore. It's administrative. They've made their money. Okay. House rich, cash poor. Momentum session. That's why we're here. People work hard all their lives, do this, do that. What's their real cost? Do they really think about it? No, because they didn't call this a house. What did they call it?
A home.
Yeah, remember? No kids. 1, 2, 3,
Grandkids.
school, marriage,
Grandkids.
kids. Yes. Okay. That's our story. Okay? So that's why we could tell it. And a dog or two. Now, when you look at this, the education is, with time, frequency, back to the language, we develop a merge or an X point. So somewhere over time, they were going to be 33 years versus, say, 16 and a half by following the new schedule. So at this point, there's a merge. And when they get there, they have enough cash that they can retire the balance of their mortgage. Because we also teach people how to separate their mortgage from their equity. We show them. Because every time I make a payment to the bank, is it liquid or illiquid now? Illiquid. Yet people keep doing it. So if you could pay off the debt that you revealed to us and disclosed in a fraction of the time, but control the cash for that period, isn't that better for you? Do you have a true emergency fund? Do you have all those things that we talked about? Did we prove it? Do you have to do it? Yeah. Do you have to promise to complete? Sure. Give me 2 more. Right? It's part of the deal. Now, even though it said 33 to 16, can they decide, because they're controlling the cash, to say, you know what, we would like to do it because of these things that happen in life. Can we do it in 20 instead of 16? The answer is on purpose. Can they say the same thing here? They don't, there's no option. Oh, by the way, the same token is, instead of 16, can we do it in 12? Answer is yes. But that's the flexibility. It's not static. We do understand, right? And that's why we want them to keep coming out. So, when you reach that crossroad, that merge point, feel like that X factor thing, right? When you do that, and you've accumulated enough cash to buy out, in English that means hand over to the bank. Now listen to the language. Does that ever make you feel good? I'm going to hand over my money to the bank. If it doesn't sound good now, why do you think it's going to sound good 16 and a half years from now? Because that's what we want people to think about. So they go, oh, so in 16 and a half years, I'll be house rich, cash rich. I can buy out, I'm done. They go, yeah, you're done. Back to this. They just fulfilled the prophecy. So we have 16 years to work on them. When I get here, if I could have done a reverse mortgage to borrow it, to capitalize interest, to ever get only 50%, and I can't get it until then, but I could have had the cash the whole time and still will have it even past the 16-year mark. Hey, I'm not handing over nothing. Well, that's something that is learned. Can't tell somebody. They got to learn it. You have to be exposed to it. Do you have kids? No. Okay. Do you have a house? No. Yeah. You know, it's you got to find what resonates with who you're talking to. Will you, question mark, knowing what you confirmed, that previous slide, will you hand it over? See, in here, it makes sense. Like, no, I want to control it. But yet, if you're not in this room, your thought process is, oh no, I've got to pay this thing off. Matter of fact, as fast as you wanted that white picket fence and all the rest and that home thing, as fast as you wanted to actually get out of jail that much quicker. Usually within the first 5 years of being in that place, you come to your senses. Oh, we gotta pay this off. We can't live like this. Right? And that's it. That's when things are good. That's when you have a job. Bills are always paid on time. You know, I'm not talking entrepreneurs here. Okay? People that take the risk. Yes, you can make in 5 years what an average person makes in 40. Yeah, that's the trade. That's the trade. But what if you don't make it in the first 5? It's the next 5. Or the next 5. Or maybe you did make it and then you lost it. Oh, it's another 5. Okay. It's you, right? It's how you're built. It's how you're built. But we deal with all of them. Good with what's your real cost? Does it make its point? Okay. Okay. Last one. Fun, huh? Number 2? Yes. Number 2. Okay. Different question now. different thought. Closing thoughts. Am I making the most with Coach for Cash Flow? In your case, Wealth RX. Okay, or HK Global. Right? Yeah, just keep getting bigger and bigger. Am I making my Coach for Cash Flow membership work as hard as possible? Now, I introduced the word membership at this level because I've been planting the seed the whole time, which is, don't want customers, because customers don't want customers. Matter of fact, if you're a tough customer, I hope you get 200 more customers like you. So you quit. Okay? You want people that want to work with you, help you, and help themselves. Yes, that's a lot to ask, I know. But don't you get to determine who your clients are? You really do. I mean, you've heard it. You've paid for these courses that these guys said that. Well, it's actually true. It's true for me. Right? I don't want you as a client. You have to convince me. You're so wrong. Right? Now, that's an attitude. It's very real, though, after you've done it for a few years. It's kind of hard to break it. Go back to working with customers. No. Because they don't care. It's like, hey. Right? My daughter's she's with WestJet. And they've been around, talk with people from Air Canada to Emirates. And it's interesting what you learn. Some of the worst customers are Canadians, right? Going over to, say, Dubai, as an example. The way that they order people around, because they pay big bucks, right, for their tickets. So it's like, now, hey, not, hello, please, thank you, courtesies. Now I've flown first class to whatever, I've watched all that myself, and I go, that's people. Those are customers, right? When I was in first class, I didn't go, hey. It's like, they're too nice to you. How could you act like that? But people do. People, not everybody. That's why this is so important that we take the time, we cover this, right? This is so interesting. It's the first line. I disable all the excuses on the first line. So what do we do at our first meeting with a new prospect? And by the way, see how in brackets it says, like I was? That is so important. See, if you're not thinking and acting like a client, you won't get it. You won't get it. You won't get it, right? It's like we're trying to force something on you. Okay, so it doesn't mean you have to be. Personally, if I couldn't qualify, I'm going to go help 10 others to qualify. If I can't save $1,500 a month, I'm going to make money from 10 people who can save $1,500 a month. With me? Mm-hmm. My story has to be one of two things. My story of me or my story of my clients. Your story has to be you as a client or of your clients. If you're in between those two, it's not going to work. They're gonna go, stop talking. Because they go, we don't relate. Right? Number one. Here it is. A, first thing you do is you complete a quick coffee table or full presentation. That's what you want to do for the receiver, person that's hearing your message. Right? Do the whole presentation, right? Do the whole thing that we do every week, or do this one. One pager. It's all there, but you got to know it, right? But it's all there. Typical business presentation that I do, we do, is right here, that's it. Because they like the executive summary, right? Hey, doing this 30-page stuff for me. Hey, let's go. Now, we can be there all day, by the way, just on this. But that's the beauty of the cosmetic. It's an optic. They don't know. As long as that's like 3 hours later, they're gonna go, so 3 hours later. So, yeah.
The client thinks like you owe it to them an explanation.
That is your
Yeah, no,
version.
So
Yes.
now that we know that, we just say you just gotta get through it to understand it.
Yes. How long did that take you to figure that out?
Months.
Thank you. Okay, now, remember, no, it's like school. Some are going to get A's all the time, like you did, right? All the time.
This is not academia.
And others are failing at the beginning to make it to a C plus, right? That's okay. That's okay. Because the end result is this. Those who put more heart into it, they will be the big winners, not the intellectuals. Those who put this is a puppy dog presentation. It's not, you don't have to convince anybody, right? Just get their stuff, go through it, turn it back, say, here's our findings. This is you. Would you like to proceed? It's not tough, right? No, 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 no. Do you prefer this over that then? Is that what you're saying? No. Now you can change your questions. Okay, that's experience. That's all this is, right? You can't force success on anybody. It's all right. By the way, those people are allowed to leave and come back. They do. Okay, they do.
Hopefully soon.
No, they do. Remember, we're an X-ray. We're going, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. It's like a mechanic.
And they're going to take another X-ray like 3 months down the road.
Yes, it'll be worse.
Yeah.
And it will have cost them that $1,000 a month. That's for real. That's not, because when they get approved and closed, they go, darn it,
They're going to kill themselves.
I should have did. I should have did it. Some people have to pay. That's okay. We've all been in that.
To learn. You learn your mistake and you pay.
Well, hopefully, some people don't. Like, and there's a
They
level
need
of
fire chasing them.
no, but there's a
to get out
level
the
of
door.
righteousness that comes with learning this that we hope you get through quickly, because it's not about being righteous. You know you need to do this.
Well, there's people who's like, unless you explain it to me, unless I understand, I don't move forward.
No,
you know?
but they're
Yeah.
but they're that way with everything.
Yeah.
Okay?
Stay where you are.
That's right. Like we stay there. This is you. This is the change. Stroke of the pen, by the way. That's what's so cool. Not two more. Stroke of the pen. Very easy. Painless. Painless. This is, by the way, what we promote is the fastest way to help somebody. Is there a longer way? The answer is yes. Is that what a client really wants? No. Like, you don't need to refinance. You don't need to go to a bank. We can give you a written plan. No, you'll follow it, right? Oh, yeah. No. Okay, because that's real discipline. That's real discipline. This is like a springboard, right? Or as one of the accountants uses it, this is the tip of the sword, right? And these are some powerhouse guys. Complete a quick survey. So what was the first thing? Presentation. Believe it or not, that gets missed with some of the clients. Or it wasn't, or the prospective client didn't connect to the original communication. Thank God for Kim, right? Mm-hmm. So, that's it. Do we expect that? Yep. By the way, even when we do what we do, it could be 6 meetings from now that you go, oh, that? I mean, I've had so many different reactions over the years, but it's so interesting how when that happens, the epiphany, it's like, okay, good, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Right? It's all right. Do we wish you get it right away? Sure. But that's that righteous side. It's like, come on, I quit smoking 5 packs a day as of this morning. You should stop too. Doesn't work that way, right? Quick survey or a full intake. Me, I love a full intake. Just me. Is that more work? I think it's less work because I can get right to it. Now, is that something you need to do? There's a Oh, I'm going to talk about that too as we go through the steps here. So, last part, which is a 2 parts, like Harry Potter. Part 1, invite to another open session. How come? Because it's always event to event. I can't think that you got it, right? I didn't get here in 2 seconds, right? A client I put through didn't get here in 2 seconds. It's hours. We invest hours, okay? When you come to our fund, you're going to say, how many times have you been seen? Oh, 12 times, 8 times, 15 times. Oh, like there's something going on. It's not, that's why it's not transactional. It is an experience, right? So invite to another open. Present that new client invited so they can see the presentation again. And then do a personal review. So if today, like say when you and Mike met or Kim, you talked, you connected, the bridge was made, kind of like what you saw or heard, awesome. Hopefully it's saw and heard. The 2 are good, 1 is no good. Our stuff is 2, CN here. But that's why it's like come to another function. I have your survey. At the next function, see it again. Okay, now let's review your numbers. So see it again. Now let's review your numbers. We're reinforcing the message. We're not trying to get there quick. We get there quick, but we're not trying to skip anything. So see it again. You say, I don't need to see that. Give me some people are like that too. And then later they go, I should probably look at this now. Yeah, you should. That's why we do this. So a personal review of their report so they can accept or decline. And I like decline. Matter of fact, we have a standing bonus, don't we? Go get me 10 no's. Get 10 people who reviewed their report and they put no. Watch how long it takes you. It may never happen, but it's a test. Okay? Choose your path to complete A to D, which we just covered, by using team support like this. You're not by yourself. You're in business for yourself, not by yourself. Right? We are right there. Or you can do this. This is team-oriented. But you could do that A to D by planting a new client revenue stream outside of your local area. So let's say you know somebody in Oshawa or St. Mary's, Sudbury. I hope you do. And you go there. So commute to their city. You and Mike, let's say, off you go, and Kim. And you go see somebody in Sudbury. Have the new prospective client invite other couples. So don't go there to see one client. Say, since I'm going to be there and we're driving 4 hours, you might as well have a couple other people like you, by the way. Do they own a house? Do they have debt? Would they like to get out of debt sooner without spending more money? Yeah. Okay. Coffee, tea, cookies. We'll be there. Now, after the presentation, invite the guest to complete something like this on your phone. You probably already have this from Mike. So you would text to 71441. In your case, you would put, say, WealthRx as an example. So when you send it to somebody and they put in WealthRx, they get that survey on their phone. They get a little video and it's all right there. Okay. That sucks. Okay. I don't know if you've gone through that yet. Oh, okay. So there's many versions. After the presentation, you invite the guest to complete that and confirm when they're going to meet next. Same day next week as an example. So you just did a run with your immediate whoever. You book automatically like Tupperware. You book next week, you're hosting. And they're like, okay. And just like we just did tonight, you have 2 other couples. You have 2 other couples. You're now in a different place. You're not here. But you're doing the right things, which we make sure that you'll do because we've done it, right? And when you do that, repeat the process. By the way, who do you think does more business? Long distance people from head office or people that live local? Who do you think does more business? You may not know. So I'm asking, who do you think? Yeah, long distance, because they can't rely on you. I got to get it done. I don't have tomorrow. I got to get it done. Like if I'm driving up to Sudbury, I got to get it done. I can't rely on these sessions. I gotta go. So I develop my own people, right? So something to digest, right? Hard right now. Weekly targets. So Monday this week. Are you at someone's house or are you here? Are you in an office environment doing this presentation? Tuesday, house or office. Wednesday, morning, you're here right now. Thursday, tomorrow night, office. Saturday, office. But we have a calendar. Now, you use our calendar, you have your calendar. Work with us, work with yourself. Back and forth, right? Make that all work. Are you completing this gets very interesting. Are you completing a transaction or training others to pay off your plan? Because here's what's cool. When you met us, your old schedule says that you were spending $4,000 a month, let's say, on debt. Not, what's that workout place there?
What's that?
Yeah, Good Life, yeah. Okay. That's the popular one right now, right? I was thinking of that, but no, they went out of business. So Good Life, say awesome. Who's got a total gym? You should get one. You can't wreck it. Can't wreck it. Chuck Norris. Can't wreck it.
No, I still have it.
Can't wreck it. So, $1,000 piece of equipment. Lasts forever, right? Are you completing a transaction or training others? That $4,000 that you used to pay under your old schedule, you get to still pay it, or you could be training others to pay it for you. That's our business. That's part of the model. That's not incorporated into your plan, but you can make it part of your plan. That's very different than going to get a mortgage from somebody or buying insurance from somebody. It's not the same impact, right? But if you're teaching others, educating them, plugging them in, and they get pregnant with the idea and get crazy, it works. It's a business opportunity. We're not teaching this to you for you guys to become secret agents. We're teaching you so you pass it on. Yes, we want NDAs, we want all these things, we want people to respect that there is a biz op. We're not doing this for nothing. But at the end of the day, are you better for it? 100%. Right? If you apply it, like everything else. You have to apply it. So, to pay off your plan and contribute to a better lifestyle and worry-free retirement. This is part of our taglines. You can actually have a better lifestyle now, unlike most people, and still have a worry-free retirement, living it up right now. The average person is conditioned. You can't live it up now if you want to have a worry-free later. So this is kind of should mess you up a little bit. But because you're providing this to someone else, that they're doing it for themselves and they're going to expose it to others, yeah, that's called business. It's a structure, which gives you all types of different benefits, including paying off your current plan, whatever that is. Separate from just following the numbers. This gets heavy, right? Are you scheduling and planning 6 to 8 weeks in advance? Very important question. In this business, you must. Now, I learned this a long time ago. You might call it some form of time management, although you cannot manage time. The language is wrong. And the people who promote time management know it's wrong. But people have an acceptance.
You cannot manage time. Time run linear.
Yeah, I know. And then there's those who want to give, explanations. No. None of that matters. You have to know the reality of this business. Here it is. I'll prove it. How many people did you serve today? If it's 0, you put 0. If it's 2, you put 2. How many people today will be working side by side with you, supporting the cause next week, next month, next quarter? If it was 0, now you start to see a pattern. How much of your monthly plan deposits is being offset by your business? So Yes, as a client, you free up $500, $1,000, $1,500, $3,000, and some more, right? Awesome. That's actually a detriment also. If I'm a working class individual, husband, wife, get up at 6, get home at 7 p.m. I'm just too tired. My brain's too tired. I want to do nothing. Well, somebody called, they want to come over. No. Right? How much of your monthly plan deposit is being offset by your business? Passive cash flow is what we talked about on the very first slide. Coach for cash flow, empowering you through passive cash flow. If you free it up, you control it, you own it. If you don't free it up, you don't control it, you don't own it. You got a long road ahead of you. Even though you say, no, everything's okay. It is okay, it's just not efficient. Right? It is okay, it's just not efficient. So, if my report says that I can save $1,000 a month, 1,002, that may be the best that it's ever going to be for me. I can't commit. She won't let me. You know the language people use, right? As if she won't let me. I want to do things quicker, give us better, whatever. Of course, it's yeah, we're in. Or it's no, I want you home. I get it. I understand that. So it may be the best it'll be for us. What if I didn't qualify when I saw this? But this was done, these are your numbers, but now let's see if you can fully qualify. I need 800,000 overall debt restructure. I make 80,000. That's like 10 times what I make. I don't think they're going to approve me, and I would be right. Yet my credit is perfect. 80 grand, perfect credit. Can I get enough to restructure myself right now? No. I got to make more money. I have to earn more to qualify. I have to. Okay, so that's not going to happen. I'm looking for homeowners. Homeowners with debt. Homeowners with debt that want to pay off everything sooner without spending more money. Does that sound like you? Does that sound like you? Okay. Yeah. So I got to find those people. Now, if I find 2, 3, 4, 5 people like that a month, can I make more than what I can save? Yeah. As a coach? Yeah, I can make more than I can save. If I am a client and I also become a coach, am I not saving and making? It's extreme, right? Okay. And then you find your level, whatever that is. And then you end up, you treat it part-time, or you end up doing like we do. You make it everything, right? Somewhere, wherever's comfortable for you is good, right? Are you on track with your plan? We talked about going from 16 years to 20 or 16 down to 12. It's all possible, right? Based on these little things that we're discussing. Okay, we're waking you up, right? So setting the stage, we're back to this. Are you eliminating, I want to think about it? So when you talk to people, if they're coming back with, I want to think about it. I got to talk to her, I got to talk to him, I got to talk to them, my financial guy, my accountant, I got to get them to look at this. By the way, didn't they? That's not what we're saying. We're not trying to hold you hostage. We're trying to free you up. Are you confirming that we only get paid for the service from the restructuring process once they actually sign off with the legal team? This is pure performance. We don't get paid in advance. We get paid when it's done and it works. There's no mystery about that. But people think, you're going to ask me at some point. No. Didn't we say on the disclaimer, can't cut a check? That's why you can't sell it. If they have to qualify, how the heck do you sell them? Some guys would actually come to me outside this room and say, yeah, you make those reports look good. And I go, you're right. Yep, especially if we know you're not qualified, so we can spend all that time and put all those professionals to work and they can't get paid. Yep, that's what you think. Well, that doesn't make sense. I go, I agree. Right? Now, do they believe it in the moment? Sure. Do they think it through? No. Is that why is frequency important? Yep. That's why frequency is important. Are you confirming that you didn't cut a check? You. Remember, like I did, like I was. Can't beat that. Like my 10, 20, 40, 50,000 clients. They don't. You won't. It doesn't happen, right? So are you confirming? Now, is this in your face language? Yep. It's so subtle actually and in your face that people will miss it. If they're a client, they go, that's right. Like they don't even twit. They go, yeah. Right? And we get a lot of people that want to do it that aren't clients. That still don't go get clients. But they want to get it. So they can go get clients. And I'm going, maybe I would rather do a webinar for you. Stay home. Okay, get excited in your living room. I want clients here. I want to get them further because you don't have to train them how to sell. They just go tell their story, right? And if I helped a bunch of people, I tell their story. And if they're with me, I don't need to say anything, right? They take over, which is great. Okay.